Venus has 8-year cycles, so roughly 8 years ago, you're probably going through some similar reflections or changes as you are now. I have to say that things are not going backwards like this to punish you. It's going backwards so you can review what has already happened in your life so that you can make the best steps forward when it goes direct again. So the changes you see will reflect who you used to be, old habits, old patterns. Let's say you didn't fully learn a lesson. You may have to revisit that lesson and possibly learn the hard way if you didn't get it the first time. And so this is why retrogrades tend to have this scary vibe around them. It's actually not scary. However, when Venus is retrograde, it can mean that you go back to an ex. It can mean infidelity or a relationship not moving forward because you reviewed it, you tried it, and then you realize that it's not going to work between you two. Maybe it seemed like things were getting better and then you're finding the same issues never went away. This is something that can happen during Venus retrograde. Venus rules over everything that is pleasant and unpleasant. So there can be changes in societal norms, what the culture or society deems as okay and acceptable and what's not. So yes, Venus retrograde is famous for this, what we call retrosexual behavior, going back to exes, liking old things we used to do or ways we used to be. It's also a very internal time. So rather than exerting yourself with people so much, you may find yourself to be a bit more intimate with yourself, a bit more self-reflective, not so much disclosing and being intimate with anyone and everyone around you. You're going to be slightly more pulled back and introverted, perhaps more self-pleasure rather than seeking a whole bunch of new partners. You'll be looking at your relationships. How does this romantic relationship provide for me? How is it helping me grow? How is it helping me express myself? Do I feel free? Do I feel like I'm able to express myself in this dynamic? And then, of course, when you look at your planets to see what it's interacting with, if I see it's moving through Lilith, and Black Moon Lilith has a lot to do with shame and narcissism, I'm going to probably be dealing with those themes. You can do that research yourself. So when Venus goes retrograde, we're going to be dealing with everything regarding our relationships, love, sex, marriage, partnerships, also having to do with our security, what food we're eating, how we feel stable within ourselves, exploring our insecurities and our securities, the romance or lack thereof. Other things include our aesthetic, how we want to appear to the world, changes that revolve things that we did in the past. So back to old looks, aesthetics, chopping our bangs again. So this is all Venus retrograde behavior. It's also talking about luxury, stylistic choices, exes, of course. And when we're thinking of Leo, we think about how we express ourselves, how we play, how we get creative with everything around us. And so in exploring what gives us that teenager-like romantic fun and how can we use that in our everyday lives and relationships and our relationships to our work, our food, everything, so that we can have a lot of pleasure. The last thing I want to say about this is that if you're born with Venus retrograde natally, being intimate with other people is very challenging or just not interesting so much for you as it is for others. So it is very normal for someone with Venus in retrograde to, have their relationships, but to not pass a certain level of emotional safety and security because they're really self-sufficient in their emotions. And what Venus retrograde is teaching us in general is how to be really self-sufficient with our emotions and how we handle other people. First, we make sure we're good in ourselves, and then we deal with the other people rather than getting just influenced by other people all the time. So that's all I have to say for Venus going retrograde in the sign of Leo. I hope you have a lovely, lovely weekend. Bye.